moments ago. A lot of talk about the NFL CBA situation, and if we hear anything from the players during the show, we will break. We'll give you the news, the breaking news, or whatever. It just pretty much depends if we hear a decision from the players. We already know that the owners has agreed to this proposed CBA. But if we hear anything from the players during the show, we'll let you guys know. But this is a wrestling show, and we will get to the wrestling. What about now? As I get Jeff on the line right now.
What's up, man?
What's good, man?
How are you?
Good, and you?
Doing great.
So, as I was saying to the listeners, if we hear anything from the players,
Don't worry, I'll let you know.
Jeff will let y'all know.
I'll patch it right in. Don't worry.
The only thing we know right now is that the owners has agreed to the proposed CBA. The players should be in discussion right now as we speak, and they hopefully will get a decision ASAP. So we want to give a shout out to all those that's in the chat room. Brownie Master, my friend Andrew from Kentucky. We got Ebo.
You must be mad that you don't live there no more.
A little bit. I'm a little.
How far do you got to go now to watch the pay-per-view events, you cheap fuck?
How far?
That's what I said. What do you want me to say it again? Did I fucking stutter?
Well, I have a cousin that watched the pay-per-view, so it's only like a 6-minute drive. It's not that far.
So you're a lucky son of a bitch. I was kind of hoping you were going to move somewhere where nobody watched the pay-per-view and you were going to have to watch it on your computer like the rest of us.
Not a chance, buddy. Not a chance.
Why not? Come on, man.
It will be a last resort. Let's just put it that way.
Why? You don't. I like it like that, dude.
The only problem is it keeps lagging, and you have to refresh the page like every.
No. You're not doing wireless, are you?
No.
Then it won't do that. Don't have anything up and running, and just have that thing on going. Boom.
That's easy for you to say. Some people be doing it and wired.
I'm gonna have to buy you a real computer then.
What difference does it make, man? Anyway, let's talk to some WWE, and of course, Andrew was here last week. He was the only person that picked CM Punk to win the WWE Championship and walk out literally with the gold. That's what happened last week. But I think we all can agree that was the match.
Wait a second.
What?
I wasn't here last week, was I?
No, you wasn't.
Where was I last week?
I have no idea. You just said I wasn't going to be able to be at the show last week, so.
What happened?
I don't know.
I painted Johnny's house last week. That's right. I finished up John's house.
Oh.
That's what I did.
That's why.
I had to finish the touch-ups. Right. That's what I was doing. Because I do believe, because we were talking about wrestling earlier in the week, and I do believe if I remember correctly, I said that I want John Cena to win, but Punk's gonna win.
Right.
Right. You remember me saying that?
I think so.
Okay, cool. So he wasn't the only one.
I'm just saying for those who was in here on the show last week, but I did remember you mentioned it maybe weeks back or something. But yeah, Punk technically was the champion until less than 24 hours later, McMahon came in and pretty much stripped any mentioning of CM Punk being WWE champion, which why this past Monday night was the championship tournament, and it pretty much now narrowed the two men, Rey Mysterio and The Miz, and just when they were supposed to have their finals, McMahon interrupts the match and has it postponed because remember Cena lost at Money in the Bank, so McMahon said that there was going to be severe consequences. Well, there were some consequences, all right. Not what McMahon had in mind. Because McMahon was talking, then Cena was talking. They were going back and forth. And then Triple H, of all people, comes in and pretty much lets McMahon know that you have been relieved from your duties. And the person that's going to be replacing Vince McMahon is Triple H himself. So obviously McMahon's been out of control ever since the CM Punk saga started. And of course, according to Triple H, the board of directors has been questioning McMahon's decision making as of late, which is why they come to a decision that maybe it's time for McMahon to take a back seat and give someone else to be in charge. So who knows, storyline wise, if McMahon is still within the WWE organization, but right now Triple H is in charge, and John Cena, shockingly, is off the hook. Now Ebo is saying in the chat room that McMahon is retiring. Interesting you say that, because I remember maybe it was a year or two ago that McMahon said he would never retire. He's going to retire when
What does he do? He doesn't do nothing.
I mean,
he doesn't wrestle. No, he doesn't wrestle, so he can run that fucking company till the day he dies.
Well, obviously, maybe it's time for McMahon to take a backseat. And he's not. We know he's not a wrestler, but he's in charge of the company.
It's all in the script.
His father was in charge of the organization, so you know, at least even if this is a storyline or not, you know, if this happens to be real, at least it's still within the family, because Triple H is a McMahon after all. So we'll see what happens. But John,
Pops, I love you. Yeah, shut the fuck up.
That was funny.
Should have clocked him right in the head.
That was some funny shit, man. Triple H I've never seen him that emotional ever in a long time.
Should have clocked him right in the head. You know what? He should have said, you know what, Vince? Whack! I'm gonna knock some sense into you.
Yeah, those
Stupid
two
old man. Yeah.
Those two guys, like everyone else.
He's going on vacation for a while.
Yeah.
You know, it's taking a couple of weeks off, so they needed a storyline. So here it is.
And I think Triple H was destined to get back on television at some point.
Yeah.
And I thought that Triple H was not going to go back until he gets another shot at Undertaker. But you got to rephrase that. He's not going to go back and wrestle. Right.
He's going to go back and play the
boss.
Yeah. Which he's not going to wrestle much, but he'll probably wrestle. He'll probably make another match for himself against the Undertaker.
So Triple H, as he was talking, he said that John Cena is not going to be fired. He's not going to. He's off the hook pretty much. John Cena earlier on Monday night felt that he was already forever endeavored, which is what, you know, when you go to WWE.com and you check out the wrestlers that get released, and it ends up saying, "We wish you the best in your future endeavors." And Ebo, I agree. I wish they just announced a Raw general manager instead of that annoying laptop sound thingy. You know, I think Triple H is going to take care of that at some point. Obviously, Ebo is not a fan of the anonymous Raw general manager. I think we all a fan of them. I mean, it started off funny because of Michael Cole's annoying ass, but at some point, it's time for. And since Triple H is in charge, I'm sure he's sick of it too. So by next week, he'll make a decision on the anonymous Raw general manager in that. Money in the Bank was this past Sunday, and of course, let's just face it, Christian. He know he couldn't beat Randy Orton one-on-one fair and square, so he got his attorneys involved, and he spit Randy Orton in the face, and he knew that Orton was going to lose his cool, and that's what happened. He gave him a nice low blow below the belt, and because of the ruling disqualification, Christian is the new champion.
That was bullshit.
It's Christian pretty much beat the system pretty much.
That was bullshit.
I mean, we all know that Christian can beat Randy
Call
Orton.
foul.
he calls foul on it. So yeah,
that was bullshit.
Like it or not, he's the new champion. Now at least Randy Orton took his frustration out and gave him not one but 2 RKOs.
That was cool.
On the announcer table. How the hell did that announcer table did not break?
I don't know.
That
reinforced bullshit.
That table must be on steroids. And speaking of Money in the Bank, Alberto Del Rio closing in on his destiny. He is now Raw's Money in the Bank. And not only that, but he ripped the mask of Rey Mysterio in the process. So he's closing in on that destiny. And since the whole CM Punk situation is behind the WWE, there will be a new champion crowned next week when Rey Mysterio takes on The Miz. Now, until a new champion is crowned, Alberto Del Rio can't cash in the briefcase. He's just going to have to hang on to it for the time being. And speaking of Money in the Banks, holy shit.
Wow.
Daniel Bryan, of all people on the SmackDown side, he goes on to win the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, what's up with that shit, man?
That's a shocker beyond all means.
And I hate that fucking Alberto Del Rio motherfucker. That spick bastard. I don't like that prick.
Don't like the smile, don't like the wink.
I don't like the cockiness. I don't like any of it. I like, man, you know, one of these days you're going to go to a fucking show and he's going to park that thing right next to you. I want you to spit on it. Whatever vehicle it is, just spit on the bitch and say, that's from Jeff. And his personal ring announcer, yeah, he's got to get his ass beat soon.
Oh, yeah, his ring
really does, man.
His ring announcer made his return.
Yeah, I know. He needs to get his ass beat.
He did get his ass beat, but he...
How the hell did Daniel Bryan win that fucking thing anyway?
I mean, you asked me. You had Sheamus. You had Wade Barrett. I mean, Daniel Bryan came in as an underdog. He never been in a ladder match in his WWE career.
People are flying all over the place and shit.
And Sin Cara got his ass ended up in a stretcher. There was a lot of injuries in Money in the Bank.
His fucked up his knee good, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean...
I like that, but I don't know how he was winning those matches on Monday night. God damn.
Yeah, the Miz, I mean...
Lovely Lips, welcome to the show.
Lovely Lips, what's going on? Yeah, the Miz, no way. I think the Miz...
I hate the Miz.
The Miz owes Triple H, or better yet, he owes Vince McMahon a thank you for having that match pushed back to next week.
Yes. Yeah,
he owes
definitely.
He owes him a huge thank you. He
does, because I think Rey Mysterio was going to kick his ass.
I mean,
that would have been beautiful.
He beat Alex Riley, then he beat Kofi Kingston with one leg. Whether you like the guy or not, he showed a lot of toughness in that tournament. He's a prick, but he's a tough prick. So Miz versus Mysterio next Monday night.
I think that's bullshit, man. I think that's bullshit. I think fucking Vince McMahon fucked everything up for Mysterio, because Mysterio is about to become the next champion.
You know that.
And I'm glad Alberto Del Rio lost, but it doesn't matter because he's still got the briefcase.
Yeah, he still got the briefcase. Now, until a new champion is crowned, he can't cash it in. So
you know what I think they're gonna do? Whoever is gonna win between Miz and Mysterio is going to face John Cena the next Monday night.
Oh, yeah, let's not forget Cena does have his rematch since
Yeah,
he didn't get
it's got a
fired.
rematch clause in there, right?
Yeah, since he didn't get fired, he has the rematch clause. So I have a feeling Cena will get his opportunity most likely either the week after Raw or it's going to be
or that night would be nice.
Or Nick. Well, Nick.
What they should do is they start off next Monday night with the match between Rey Mysterio and Miz for the championship, and they end Monday night with the match between the new champion, and John Cena.
You know that wouldn't be a bad idea, but I gotta
see. I can run the fucking WWE my fucking self.
That wouldn't be a bad idea, but I think they're gonna wait for Cena's rematch until SummerSlam, which will be next month.
What, with Punk?
I mean, with a Cena.
Listen, if they're doing this tournament style thing to make a new champion, Punk ain't coming back.
We know that Punk ain't coming back, but there's going to be a new champion crowned regardless. Punk can walk around all over the country with the championship all he wants, but after next Monday night, he won't be the official champion.
You know what? I'm going to laugh my ass off if he signs with the other wrestling, with the old geezer show.
What, Impact?
Yeah, with the old geezer show and takes the WWE belt over there. Now that's fucking funny.
You know.
Come on, now that's funny.
Storyline, right? You know, that probably will be exactly what, maybe that's what Impact needs.
And you know damn well John Cena would have done the same thing if he got fired right there on that spot. You know that. Because that's what I would do too. Go over to the old geezer company and beat the crap out of all of the old geezers.
I mean, they still gonna have that spinner belt, Andrew. So that spinner belt ain't going nowhere.
That spinner belt is gay. Okay, that spinner belt is gay. You're supposed to be a professional organization and you got a belt that spins. That's fucking gay.
Well, so I guess they wanted to keep up with culture, you know.
That's not culture. That's gay.
You know, I'm not. You know.
Okay, you know what? You're right. That's gay culture.
I mean, I don't know what the fuss is about. You know, that's not the only championship that was a spinner belt. The United States Championship was once a spinner belt.
Hey, that ladder match was fucking killer, wasn't it? The Monday Night Raw ladder match.
Yeah, that was.
Right.
That was,
I mean, with when Sakara landed on that freaking ladder and bending that shit.
Yeah.
That was sick, huh?
Sheamus crushed him.
Crushed him, man. Fucking, he had to break a rib, right?
Yeah, and I do have some an update on the injuries for both Sin Cara and Big Show. Big Show got crushed as well, but some bad news for Sin Cara fans. Not only is he injured, not only is he out for 4 weeks, but he's suspended by the WWE.
Taking steroids?
I guess you can say that. If he failed like a drug test or whatever. Yeah. It's his first violation, so he's be suspended for 30 days, which is the same amount of time that
gonna take him to heal.
Take him to heal.
Yeah, so it's not really a suspension. He's out anyway because he's hurt.
He's out.
Fucking dicks, man. You're a fucking cock.
I mean, I guess that's how they want things, you know, not just WWE, but wrestling in general, knowing that you're gonna be out for a while or take a hiatus, you get injured bad.
I hate to tell you, but that's not how Major League Baseball does it.
Nope, but it's not staged.
You come off the DL. When you come off the DL, then you start your suspension. And that's the way it should be in wrestling.
Well,
I know it's not professional. It's entertainment. Yeah, fucking scratch my ass.
So let's see. Big Show.
Any guests today?
Oh yeah, we have a guest this evening. Kristen Flake will be joining us at the.
What's his last name?
Her last name?
Her last name is Flake?
Yes.
Oh, is she gonna flake out on us?
You are funny, man. But she's been promoting the interview on Facebook and Twitter. I just saw her promoting it on her websites and stuff. So
When was the
yes,
last time you spoke to this broad? Oh, let me hold on. I got to rephrase it. When was the last time you spoke to Flake?
I talked to her as of uh, Tuesday or yesterday, one of the two. But
Tuesday or yesterday? Okay.
yes, so
Okay.
she knows.
I hope
Obviously,
she doesn't flake out on us.
obviously she knows because she's promoting the show on her Facebook and Twitter. So relax for once.
Okay. What time is she supposed to show up? 8 minutes?
Yeah, 8:30.
Okay.
She joins us. Um, let's see what else happened. Money in the Bank. Kelly retained.
That is one hot bitch.
She's hot and she's still a champion.
She's smoking freaking hot.
But I wanna bring this up because this past Monday night was that 7-on-7 Divas match, and it was Beth Phoenix who got the pinfall. And if you was looking real carefully,
Yes, I seen it too.
if you looked at the ending real carefully, you see that Beth Phoenix was staring at Kelly in that
Yep.
championship.
Yeah.
So you gotta think that Beth Phoenix, who happens to be CM Punk's real life girlfriend, is gonna be in line for that Divas Championship at some point within the next couple of weeks leading up to SummerSlam, and that will be a tough challenge for Kelly.
Or Beth Phoenix is gonna do something to get her kicked out so she can join Punk over at TNA.
Nah, Beth Phoenix is staying put, so she ain't going nowhere.
I like to bang the shit out of that broad Kelly. God damn. Just take my sweet ass time.
Anyway, Monday Night Raw was at Green Bay, Wisconsin. The last time WWE was at Wisconsin, Green Bay, I should say, was when R-Truth got the name of the city wrong. He called Green Bay Milwaukee. That was last year when he was a good guy. And of course, Green Bay fans weren't so happy about him.
Did they bust his chop? I don't remember them busting his chops when he came out.
Yeah, they didn't bust his chops this past Monday night, but they did the last time they were at Green Bay. They were just chanting the Green, "We are Green Bay," and Michael Cole even bust his chops even more for getting the name of the city wrong. And of course, R-Truth later on apologized for getting the name of the city wrong, but he didn't get that. He didn't get any mentioning of that this past Monday night, and he went on to beat Jack Swagger in that tournament. So obviously, even though he's turned into a heel and talking about the little Jimmies and all the conspiracy, they're not butthurt about it. Green Bay is. So also later on tonight, we're going to talk some Impact. Speaking of championship changes, there's a new Impact heavyweight champion, the Icon Sting. He defeated Mr. Anderson. But Anderson, in case you haven't heard, has sell his soul to the devil. In other words, he joined forces with Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff.
Oh God, did he really?
Yeah, he 2 weeks ago on Impact, he joined forces with Hogan and Bischoff to be part of Immortal. So, and you
loser.
So you would think heading into last week he has the advantage, that he has everything in his favor. But Sting, he had some backup of his own. He had a bunch of guys wearing a clown mask to beat up on.
Oh, yeah, the insane clown posse there, huh?
No, there was just. That would be funny if he did, because he kind of looked like the ICP, the way he's been acting as of late. But Sting has some help from guys wearing clown masks. And after they beat up on Jeff Jarrett, they beat up on the Monster Abyss, they beat up on some other folks. Those guys ended up being revealed as AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Kazarian, and Robert Roode, of bill money. And on the main event between Sting and Anderson, another person wearing the clown mask beat up on Bully Ray and Anderson, which pretty much led to Sting winning the championship. So, and not only that, but next month's pay-per-view, Hardcore Justice, it will be Kurt Angle versus Sting for the Impact Heavyweight Championship. So that's coming up at the next pay-per-view, and we'll get more on Impact a little bit later. We're also going to give you this day in wrestling history. Some interesting wrestling moments that took place here on July 21st. It's July 21st, 2011. If we hear anything from the NFL, CBA will let you guys know, but chances are I guess we'll get to it right after the interview with Kristen Flake. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. She is a indie pro wrestler living in Florida. I first heard of her through Amber O'Neal, who was a guest on this show 2 weeks ago here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. Been a fan of her wrestling, and I'm happy to have her on the show this evening, and she will be calling in a couple of minutes. So we got some more stuff coming up within the last 32 minutes or so. So we appreciate you all for joining us here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. Thank you, everybody. And we'll talk some more Impact a little bit later. There's a couple of matches that's going to be taking place. Not one, but two championships will be on the line on Impact. But we'll get to that a little bit later. Some other news for the WWE. Sin Cara has been suspended, and The Big Show is injured, and he'll be out of action for a long time, for a couple of weeks, maybe a month or two. Mark Henry is a monster. Mark Henry is on a roll right now. And you got to wonder if he is going to get a shot at the World Heavyweight title at some point. We know Daniel Bryan has a guaranteed title opportunity. And speaking of which, we have our guest calling in right now. Let me add her to the conference. Ladies and gentlemen of Triple Threat Wrestling Radio, we are joined with our guest for this evening. Her name is Kristen Flake. She's joining us here right now. Good evening, Kristen.
Hey, how are you doing?
Doing real good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
First and foremost, thank you for joining us this evening on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio.
Oh, no problem.
So, for those that's hearing you for the first time, why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about your wrestling career and how it all started?
Well, I've been a wrestling fan since I was younger, and always wanted to get into it. So at the age of 16, I started training in Ocala with Dory Funk Jr. And then I took a little bit of time off. I had a back injury. And then when I was 19, I went up to Burlington, North Carolina, and worked with CWF Mid-Atlantic, just doing managing and stuff for a while. And then eventually I trained a little bit more so that I could be a full-time worker in the ring.
Why don't you name, what are some of the wrestling organizations in the indie wrestling circuit have you worked for throughout your career?
Oh, goodness. Let's see. I've worked for CWF. That's the main place that I trained at. And then a bunch of places around North Carolina, WCEW, and then some places up in Virginia. One of the main ones was VCW, NWA Mid-Atlantic, Championship Wrestling. I've worked for WEW once up in Philly. I've worked for a couple of places in West Virginia, some places in Georgia, a couple shows down in Florida, pretty much just a little bit all over.
All right, so I first heard of you when you was wrestling with and against Amber O'Neal. We had Amber on the show 2 weeks ago. Um, what was it like wrestling with Amber, and do you remember like your first match you had with or against her?
Yes, she was actually my very first match, and it was good to be able to work with her. She was, obviously a veteran, or still is a veteran. But at the time, for me, getting to work with her and just kind of see how to really work a crowd, and that sort of thing. That's like really, I would think her probably best asset. And so getting to be in the ring and see how she fed off people taught me how to do the same thing and really interact with a crowd.
So, what do you like being the most as far as character is concerned? Are you comfortable being a baby face, or are you more comfortable being a heel?
I've done both. I personally prefer working as a heel. It's more fun for me, and I don't want to say that I'm necessarily that, in real life, but it definitely helps you get out some of your real life aggressions in a manner that's acceptable.
How would you describe your wrestling style? Are you technically sound? Do you like to do some, maneuvers or so forth? How would you describe your wrestling style?
I would say more technical than anything. I really love chain wrestling, and all the different sorts of chain and roll-ups and stuff like that. I'm definitely not a high flyer. I like to keep my feet on the ground.
Hey, regardless, it's all about getting the job done. But yeah, we are joined with Kristen Flake here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio for those that's just listening in. Um, Now, Christy, do you have any upcoming matches, events that you'll be a part of?
Right now, my schedule is clear. The reason for that being that I injured my shoulder last October, I believe, and it's taking a little bit more time to heal than I thought. I've worked, I think, 2 shows since then, which I wasn't necessarily supposed to be working according to the doctors, but I moved from North Carolina, and one of the girls I worked with up there, Persephone, and her, we really wanted to be able to work a last match together before I moved. So I ended up with working with her in March, but now I'm just taking some time off to actually let my neck and shoulder heal properly.
Well, we definitely wish you the best in a recovery from your injury, and definitely hope to see you back in the ring at some point.
Thank you.
So you mentioned Amber O'Neal and you mentioned Persephone, which kind of leads to the next question, and I really want you to think long and hard about this. Who would you consider like your top 5 favorite wrestlers that you have worked with?
Top 5 that I've worked with?
Yes.
Let's see. Probably Persephone, and Amber. And then after that, I would say definitely Allison Danger, and Sarah Del Rey. Let's see, a 5th one. I did get the opportunity to work with ODB a little bit at a promotion in North Carolina, SCWA Wrestling, and that was a lot of fun.
That was interesting. You mentioned ODB, and I mean she's crazy. Let's just put it that way. Is he obviously you wrestled with her, and obviously I'm not sure if you talked to her prior to the match or not, but is ODB really that crazy people say that she is?
I didn't find her to be crazy at all. She's a nice girl, and she's, I mean, I guess people might take her the wrong way, but she's very forward, like she's very upfront with you. But I don't think that's a bad thing. She's very nice.
Just the look of her, she looks like someone you can just kick it with and drink a beer or two.
Yes, she's a fun girl.
Oh, all right. So, as far as social media is concerned, you mostly are on Facebook. So, why don't you tell the listeners your Facebook fan page link if you want to?
I actually am not sure the URL, which is probably bad. But if you go on there, it's Kristen Flake official fan page. And right now, I'm not adding any more people to my personal page on Facebook because I've had some issues with people stealing my pictures and whatnot. But if anyone wants me to send them the fan page URL, they can send me a message at facebook.com/Kristen Flake, and I can get them added to the fan space.
Actually, I got the link right in front of me. Is
Okay, awesome.
It's facebook.com/groups/Kristen Flake official fans page. That's your official Facebook fan page link right there. And people can just go ahead and click add to group, and one of the admins, such as yourself, will add you on to the page. And obviously, that's where Kristen can give you the full 1-1 on everything involving her, what she's got going on, what she's got coming up, wrestling matches, interviews, etc. So that's pretty much the only Facebook page for Kristen. So go there and step away from the posers. Now, I've always asked guests this question on this show, and I know you recovering from injury and everything, but once you get back to being healthy again, do you consider being in the WWE or Impact Wrestling, do you consider that as a goal for you to be a part of, or are you just sticking to being on the indie circuit?
I get that question a lot, and like when I first started, of course, I think everybody when they first start, that's one of their goals is to be in the big leagues. But you know, once I actually started working in the business and all that, it just wasn't really something that was super appealing to me. That's not to say that if given the opportunity that I wouldn't want to maybe do, you know, a couple of spots or something. But for me, I just don't know that I would want to, especially for like WWE, to have to keep up with all the plastic surgery and all that sort of stuff that they expect of their girls. I don't have anything against that, and if people want to do that, that's great. I'm just not a huge proponent of all that for myself. So I don't think WWE's you know, a goal of mine. As far as TNA goes, they have a lot of girls, and they actually, I think, let them work a little bit more than WWE does. So, I mean, if I had the opportunity to work with them, I wouldn't necessarily turn it down. But I'm definitely happy with the opportunities that I've had and the opportunities that I will continue to have just working on the indie scene.
You know, the one thing that indie wrestling has that a lot of that the big leagues, as you call them, don't have is that the interaction. You know, the indie wrestlers actually interact with their fans. So as far as the fan interaction, that's definitely important. You know, they probably go through some complicated thing as far as WWE and Impact to interact with the fans, but you know, people like yourself being in the indie circuit actually takes time to talk to fans and stuff. So that's very important because the fans, without the fans, these wrestlers won't be where they are today, pretty much.
That's absolutely true. I mean, I've also met a lot of guys and girls who, you know, do work in WWE or TNA, and they're very giving with their fans. I think the difference being that it's difficult for them because they're going to have so many more people at them after them for whatever it is, a picture or an autograph or time or, whatever, than people on the indies are. So, you can't give that to everybody.
All right, before we let you go, Kirsten, what I'd like for you to do is a voice drop. All you gotta do is say your name, and right after you say your name, you say you are listening to Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. I'll count to 3. You go ahead and say it.
Okay.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
This is Kristen Flake, and you are listening to Triple Threat Wrestling Radio.
Perfect. One more thing, check her out on Facebook, the Facebook fan page. Kirsten Flake official fan page is the name of the group page. It's facebook.com/groups/Kristen Flake official fan page. It's long, I know, but that's the official link, or pretty much. So thank you so much for your time. Best of success on a speedy recovery and getting back in the ring soon. Keep in touch, and thank you again for joining us this evening.
Thank you so much for having me.
You have a great weekend.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was Kristen Flake joining us here on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio.
Bye-bye.
And there's Jeff's signature. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Kristen. And nice woman, nice girl. She knows her stuff. So thank you for joining us this evening.
She didn't flake out on us.
She didn't flake. So let's go ahead and before we get to the Impact stuff, this is what we do every week, is this day in wrestling history. So let's get to that. And according to we haven't heard anything from the players yet, correct? As far as the NFL, CBA?
Nope.
All right. They should make a decision either today or tomorrow, whatever.
They got till Tuesday. Owners gave them till Tuesday to make a decision.
So apparently they won't make the decision tonight.
Who knows?
So here it is, this day in wrestling history, and hello to Gangster 307, first time listener I see. Thank you so much and welcome to Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. We just finished the Kristen Flake interview just moments ago. So if you just got there, just joining us, we just finished the interview, but we'll have the link posted on Facebook and Twitter, and I will send it to Kristen once the show ends. Andrew said he's got news on it. If you got any news, just post it in the chat room or whatever. So here we go. This day in wrestling history on July 21st, which is today's date. In 1996 was the WWF In Your House International Incident was held in Vancouver, Canada. In this pay-per-view, Steve Austin defeated Mark Merrill. Undertaker defeated Goldust by DQ. Camp Cornette, that's Jim Cornette's stable, with Vader, Owen Hart, and the British Bulldog defeated the People Posse. And no, that's not the Wax team. It's a team of Shawn Michaels, Psycho Sid, and Ahmed Johnson. Camp Cornette defeated the People's Posse in that pay-per-view. And then also on this day, July 21st, 2002, was WWE Vengeance pay-per-view. Was held in Detroit, Michigan. The Dudley Boys defeated Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit in an elimination tables match. Jamie Noble defeated Billy Kidman to retain the Cruiserweight title. Jeff Hardy defeated William Regal to retain the European title. John Cena defeated Chris Jericho. RVD defeated Brock Lesnar by DQ to retain the Intercontinental title. And the Un-Americans, Lance Armstrong and Christian, defeated Hulk Hogan and Edge to win the tag team titles. The Rock defeated Kurt Angle and The Undertaker in a triple threat match to win the WWE Undisputed title. As far as title changes, let me see here. And this is some TNA history here. In 2009, on this day, the British Invasion, British Magnus and Doug Williams defeated 3D, which is the Dudley Boys formerly, to win the IWGP Tag Team titles. Although NJPW did not acknowledge the title change until August the 10th. And as for birthdays, happy birthday to former 3-time WCW Tag Team Champion Shawn Stasiak, former WWF and NJPW performer Giant Silver, Mark Youngblood NWA Television Champion, is his birthday as well. So that is your this day in wrestling history on July 21st. Here's the story on Sin Cara's suspension, according to WWE.com. In accordance to its talent wellness program, WWE has suspended Sin Cara for 30 days for his first violation of the company's policy. That's your story on Sin Cara. And as for Big Show and the Sin Cara's injuries, as I read here, Big Show suffered a distal fracture on the fibula that would keep him out of action for 6 to 8 weeks. As for Sin Cara's injury, the impact was so devastating and quickly stretched to the back by paramedics. Early medical reports have concluded that the high-flying superstar has suffered a posterior fracture rib and will be out for at least 4 weeks, aka the suspension. As for Impact tonight is concerned, here's the match that will be taking place on Impact tonight. Jeff's favorite knockout, Velvet Sky, will take on Mickey James for the Knockout Championship. So you get to see the pigeons loose tonight, Jeff. In the Bound for Glory series match, it will be AJ Styles versus Gunner versus Matt Morgan versus Samoa Joe in a ladder match. Also, a Bound for Glory series match, it will be Rob Van Dam versus Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner, and new X Division champion Brian Kendrick will face Alex Shelley for the X Division title. Of course, Alex Shelley won the Ultimate X match at Destination X to be the #1 contender. Brian Kendrick defeated the Monster Abyss to become the new champion. So those two will face each other tonight. And what's next for Kurt Angle and Sting? Just weeks prior to their title match at Hardcore Justice pay-per-view, those two will face each other for the Impact Heavyweight Championship. So there you go. Anderson, you can bet tonight on Impact will get his rematch at some point. He's going to get his rematch. He's the former champion. He gets the rematch in his clause, so he'll get that eventually. He may get it before Hardcore Justice pay-per-view. Who knows? But Hardcore Justice will be on, I believe it's on August the 7th. And then the SummerSlam pay-per-view will be on August the 14th. So they'll be on back-to-back, I guess. No matches are yet to be scheduled for SummerSlam pay-per-view. But we should at least get some matches announced tomorrow night on Friday Night SmackDown. Here's a WWE Did You Know? Did you know ever since debuting on Sci-Fi that SmackDown is the #1 rated show on Sci-Fi? They have had better ratings than any other show that's on Sci-Fi. So, and the ratings haven't really been up to SmackDown standards in the past, but at least they can say they're the highest rated show on Sci-Fi on the network. So, there you go. That concludes your Impact. Rey Mysterio has a new DVD in stores. It's it's actually Rey Mysterio's third DVD since he been in the WWE. This will take a look back in his 20-year career, the matches that has defined his career, and Rey Mysterio will go over every single match. I'm guessing it's handpicked by Mysterio himself. Just gonna take a look back at his WWE career, WCW career, and within the Luchadors as well. Of course, Eddie Guerrero will be there. Alberto Del Rio matches, and some other old matches that you may not have heard of since you were young. So, Rey Mysterio new DVD is available right now. So, just to let y'all know. So, yeah, man, we haven't heard anything from the NFL and this CBA. So, obviously, now that the owners,
Nope.
so that the owners have already agreed to the proposed CBA, it's all in their the players' hands. So I think they're just gonna sleep on it for the night and make a decision at some point. Uh, but anyway, now that Triple H is in charge, what does the future holds for WWE? Uh,
I don't know. What do you think?
I do. I think Triple H, like you mentioned earlier on the show, since he's not going to be back in the wrestling ring anytime soon, he's not going to necessarily wrestle again. It's just going to be maybe temporarily for Triple H being in charge and such. As far as heel or babyface, that definitely remains to be seen. And who knows if CM Punk is going to come back with the title that he supposedly have, but we do know for sure that a new champion will be crowned by next Monday night, and then Alberto Del Rio will be eligible to cash it in anytime he sees fit. But I'm gonna say this: I think Daniel Bryan is gonna cash in his briefcase on SummerSlam, because it was on SummerSlam a year ago that he came back to the WWE after he was cut from the roster earlier this year. He was part of Team WWE versus the Nexus. Remember, Daniel Bryan was a former member of the Nexus. I think that Daniel Bryan's going to cash it in at SummerSlam. And I'm glad Andrew brought that up, because in case you don't know, the San Diego convention is taking place right now, and some WWE superstars are there, including CM Punk.
What, the Comic-Con?
Yeah, the Comic-Con.
Yeah.
He's there. I heard that Eve Torres is there. Rey Mysterio's going to be there. Obviously, it's his hometown. Makes sense. So, yeah, some superstars are at the Comic-Con throughout the weekend. So, that should be interesting. And Punk is there. He supposedly he's unemployed and he can just do whatever he wants. So, and obviously he has some things to say. Oh, and speaking of which, here's some rumors for you. The Rock may be coming back before WrestleMania. According to the video that The Rock made on YouTube where he dissed John Cena, he said he's going to come back early. He's going to come back before WrestleMania. Now, the Cena and Rock match will still go on as planned at WrestleMania next year. But Rock may be coming back a lot earlier than people think. And if you was listening to the video, The Rock said he's going to come back at a place where it all started. And that could only mean one pay-per-view. Survivor Series. Keep an eye on it. The Rock made his WWE debut at that pay-per-view. So that was a clue. He said he was going to come back before WrestleMania at a place where it all started. So, Survivor Series, that's that November pay-per-view, before or after Thanksgiving. Keep an eye on that. So, if he's not coming back soon, that he'll be back probably in time for Survivor Series for something between he and Cena, because obviously he's Cena and Rock are still going at it back and forth via Twitter and such. And even though on the night after he lost, he did apologize to The Rock for what he called was unprofessional behavior. You know, I don't think Cena needs to apologize at all. I think he was telling the truth. You know, as far as The Rock want to come back and say that he's never gonna leave, and then all of a sudden he's making the new G.I. Joe movie. So he's probably gonna spend the rest of the summer making that movie, and then he'll probably be back in time for Survivor Series, and then obviously he'll be at WrestleMania next year to take on Cena. Yeah, so they always been going at it. You know, Cena and Rock, and Cena, thanks to Triple H, still employed, still has a job. But what does Triple H have in store for Cena, who does have a rematch clause? Is Cena going to get his rematch next week or SummerSlam? So many unanswered questions. But at least we know that McMahon is taking the back seat because Triple H is in charge. So before we get on out of here, I do want to thank Kristen Flake for joining us this evening. Check her out on her Facebook fan page. And next week we'll be joined with a wrestler from New York. Her name is Adia Marie. She joins us next week. And we'll talk more WWE and Impact and so forth. But Impact Wrestling is coming up next on Spike. It's on Spike. It's known as Impact Wrestling. They don't call themselves TNA anymore. So Impact Wrestling is coming up next. Check it out if you're a fan of Impact. And of course, SmackDown is tomorrow night. I think Randy Orton will be facing Kane tomorrow night. I guess that's Teddy Long punishing Randy Orton for his behavior towards Christian after he got screwed out of the World Heavyweight Championship, which I think he has a legitimate beef. He got screwed. You said it was bullshit. I agree. But Teddy Long, being Teddy Long, he's got to keep things in order, and I guess you can consider this a punishment. And besides, this will be a no disqualification match, I believe, between Kane and Randy Orton. So, you know Kane's going to want revenge on Orton after what happened last week when Orton destroyed Kane with a steel chair, pretty much. That's going to conclude Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Don't forget, Chilling with Jeff and Kenny C is on Saturdays, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Pacific, for you fans on the entertainment side of things. Check that out. Lord, Jeff, and myself, we're at Bastard Sports Show tomorrow and Saturday. We're going to go ahead and get on out of here. You all have a great weekend. See you this Saturday for Chilling, and see you next week on Triple Threat Wrestling Radio. You all have a good evening. Peace out.
See ya.
We're done.
All right, dude. I'm out.
All right.